6 Supervillain Archetypes Explained. The Shadow. The Shadow is a villain who is usually not the one fighting very often, if at all. This is because when he fights, he tends not to be very strong. His specialty, however, is teleporting away from the scene to the villain's main hideout. He can teleport pretty much anywhere, actually. His main roles are to be the gateway or the getaway for himself and the other villains, gather intel for the mastermind, and to capture someone as a hostage. He's the villain who stands in the back and observes what unfolds, only to jump in when things become too much for the villains to handle. The Mastermind. The Mastermind is the villain pulling the strings behind most of the major events the heroes have to face. He is the one who is almost never seen by the heroes until near the end of the story. Despite being the most powerful villain now or historically, the Mastermind does not get his hands dirty unless he really has to. Often, it's because he is now weakened, restrained, or waiting for the final phase of his plans to unfold so he can reveal himself. However, while waiting and scheming, he gets the lesser villains recruited by the Shadow to do his dirty work. The Supervillain. This is the first, if not one of the first villains that the hero encounters in the story. He is not very strong, but maybe slightly stronger than a minor villain. His powers and attacks are very basic, straightforward, and predictable, especially when the hero understands them. This villain serves as a test for the heroes for when he first gets his powers, or as a change in the story. He can be a recurring villain later on with the same strength, but is usually stronger the next time the hero faces him if he does return again. This is especially true if he makes contact with the mastermind villain. The Revenge Seeker. The Revenge Seeker is a hero or civilian who once believed in the heroes but has now joined the villains for revenge. Because of an incident that involved the loss of something close to them, who they believe to be caused by the heroes, they seek revenge. This incident, however, was more likely caused by the villains to get a new recruit on their side. The Revenge Seeker is often someone already closely intertwined in the story, but can be anyone really. Just because a hero may seek revenge doesn't mean they will always join the villains or turn evil. The Revenge Seeker, though driven purely by revenge, can just as easily be brought back to the side of good, especially if they find out that the villains deceived them to put them on their side. The Power-Hungry Fiend. This villain is driven strictly by their desire for power. They only want to get as strong as they can to prove to everyone that their strength is unmatched across the universe. These villains are very conceited and arrogant. They degrade and dehumanize everyone around them to make themselves look big. They may have been born with natural talent or high status, and because of it, feel that the world owes them everything. Everyone should be bowing their heads at the sight of them, and those who don't should die. It is their own pride and arrogance that often gets themselves defeated or killed. The Monster. The monster is often thought to be a manifestation of evil itself. Unlike all the previous villains, the purpose of why they are evil can be traced and understood. On the other hand, the reason for this villain's evilness cannot be traced nor understood. They are just evil out of the pleasure of deceiving others and being evil. They might have had an upbringing where they were around so much destruction and evil deeds that it just made them completely evil as adults and as they matured. But beyond that, they love doing what they do and are impossible, if not near impossible to change. These are the villains you kill swiftly without mercy or remorse. Otherwise, watch out because they'll be back to stab you in the back. That's it.